time putting together this guideline. It was a lot of learning for us last year. So reputation is something that is very, very critical. And like Socrates said, the way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. So that makes it even more important. Quite often you'll see reports like this. So this is very recent, as early as February, where under pressure or various things, the Medical Council in Gujarat actually suspended the license of 3 surgeons once a cluster was reported. So nobody is waiting for the investigation to happen. Nobody is waiting to find out what's happening. But quite often, the media is going to be at it with the name of the hospital, with the name of the people involved, where they're going to say that botched cataract surgery, your years of experience is going to be written off in a batter blinded of just one post going viral online. So we know that avoiding crisis is essentially impossible. So it's important for us to plan as to when it happens, what do we do? Not about if it happens, what do I do? And as has been shown by eminent brand gurus like Philip Kotler, reputation is very hard and time consuming to build and is very easy to damage and lose. And they are very important because they reflect the behavior of the company on a daily basis. So this is something that we can also extrapolate to us sitting in eye care, especially in a crisis environment. Now imagine a fire. A fire requires 3 elements. It requires fuel and oxygen. It requires heat and energy. It requires a catalyst like oxygen. Now in a cluster-like environment, what are the 3 elements? The fuel is the cluster or the actual outbreak. The heat of the public opinion forms the heat, the energy to that entire fire. And by you not reacting to it, actually acts as an inverse catalyst. So that can actually allow others to step in and build the narrative and kind of ruin what you've attempted to do. As with real fires, any one of those 3 you cut, if our reputation is bad, us being able to recruit our colleagues becomes very, very difficult. Most of us who are handling large community eye care organizations are dependent on resources. So donors would walk away if your reputation is tarnished. Warren Buffett has said it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, starting today, you will start thinking about what you want to do to protect your own reputation. And it is very clear that the experience that the patients have, it builds the reputation and the information that they have. So it's very critical that what the public hears from patients who've been through our system, again, is going to kind of influence what reputation gets built. How we handle media, how we kind of work with media, police, other governmental agencies is going to build a long way in terms of how they're going to respond to a time of crisis. When we consider any crisis, we are very aware about the outside world. We're worried about government, we're worried about media, we're worried whether the police are going to slap a non-bailable arrest warrant against us, but we forget that the most important stakeholders are actually internal. It starts off with the patient and the caregivers. If we've communicated well to them, they become our champions saying, yes, there was a problem, but the hospital is going out of the way to handle it. Our employees are our biggest ambassadors. They can tell the world that, you know what, they always do this. They keep reusing it. Last year itself, we asked them for a budget increase for an autoclave. They refused. And we were told to manage with a pressure cooker, for example. I'm being very extreme, but this has happened, where the employees during an inquiry have actually told what happens, and that has put the entire hospital at risk. Government, service agency, donors, they all form the entire ecosystem. 2 examples, Maggi. It's a brand all of us love. It is our comfort food. 2015, there was a case where a media report said that there was a harmful chemical. From a company that sold about 15,000 tons a month, it came down to 0 tons in a matter of 6 months. It took them a further 2 years to again build back their reputation. Let's look at something even more recent, Paytm. They were on IPO. They were the blue-eyed boy of all startups in the country. Their share value crashed 20% because RBI said that you cannot onboard more customers because your reputation is at risk. So this is what happens not just to us in eye care, but every industry in the world. Reputation is very, very important. And during a crisis, it becomes really difficult because there's a lack of information, because nobody knows what's happening. We ourselves are trying to figure out what's going on. There is a pressure to respond. You can very easily lose control of what message is going out. Rumors are flying. Your colleagues are not going to be particularly helpful to you if you've been nasty to them. They are going to again say that, they always kind of do this. They always take up more than they can chew. Things will escalate. Today we are in a social media world where in 15 seconds, a video message from within your hospital can go viral. There will be scrutiny whether you like it or not, both by media and community members. And we will feel attacked. As a doctor, you will be attacked. As a leader in the institution, you'll be attacked. And you will attempt to blame others and become very defensive. These are some things you need to be very careful. So it's very important for you to form a strategy. We've kind of shared some of this as a part of the guideline. You should make sure that there is what you want to project yourself. If you're saying that you're high class, world quality care, in terms of your delivery, you have to be that. You can't have an infrastructure that is third world and say that I'm first world. So it is very important for you to make sure that it is not just the gimmicks that you're doing, but the actual activity that you're doing. And once in a while, measure and see how the various stakeholders are perceiving what you do. It is important for us to have a plan. It is important for you to draw up a team. In a one-man-led department or a one-woman-led organization, it may not be possible for you to have a team, but be clear. Tell your staff who will speak to patients, who will communicate to any hospital that the patients are being referred to, who will be the interface to any sponsors, partners, government. This, whether you're a one-person organization, 100% organization, is very, very important. Second, create checklist. How will the immediate care of the patients be? What is the protocol to transfer patients out if you don't have the ability to handle them? What is the investigation modality that is there? What are the registers? All of this will come back to help you in the terms of protecting your reputation. You're able to show these documents saying, this is what we have done. This is our checklist. This is what we have done. This is how we have managed it. And be available. Don't hide yourself. Don't lock yourself up. Like I think sir mentioned, or ma'am mentioned, there's a chance for you to think suicidal. It's important for us to be aware and ask for help. There are organizations in your city. There are organizations like Vision 2020. AIOS has their own advisory committees that are available. Reach out to them and ask them for help. It need not be your battle alone. Lastly, create a template with which you can communicate to the media. It is very, very important. Have a template for death. Have a template for any adverse event that happens. First, make sure that the template has you apologize for what has happened so that you don't add fuel to fire by denying it. Second, be clear about what the incident was, how many patients were affected, what have you done to actually ensure optimum recovery and outcome, and what proactive measures have been done to identify the root cause and how you're going to be handling it. A simple thumb rule, what would you do if you were in a situation? If you were a patient, if you were an attender, how would you have wanted the communication to be? That kind of will set context to how you're communicating. As long as you remember that, put yourself in a patient and an attender shoe who possibly is never going to see the world again, who possibly is going to have his eyes eviscerated possibly. That will very clearly tell you, saying that how are you actually communicating to it. So it's very important to be sensitive because emotions are high, and don't make it personal. Transparency is very good for you to put together a truthful, holistic picture, and you have to act in real time. You cannot procrastinate. You cannot say that I'll wait for the weekend to be done. I'll wait for the lab reports to come. If you're waiting for the lab reports to come, let the world know that you've sent the samples to the lab and you're waiting for the reports to come. Until then, you don't know. Rather than say no comments or we're waiting, that's what the politicians you see do. And it ticks you off saying, how can you not have a comment? It's something that is so close to us. So to sum up, take responsibility, be proactive, be ready for a social media backlash, apologize and take action, monitor, plan, communicate, be the first to understand the situation, avoid being knee-jerk, and turn off the fan that can fuel the fire. It becomes very, very important for us to kind of handle it. The QR code will take you to the guideline. It is available on the Vision 2020 website. We've also uploaded it as a part of the handouts, as a part of what the AIOC asked us to. So you'll be able to access whatever information that we have shared as a